Depends.
Okay, let's call this November 13th, Decennial Committee meeting to order. And could we have a roll call for followers?
Sure, Supervisor Hewitt.
Here.
Trustee Robinson.
Here.
Trustee Page.
Here.
Would you like to sit down? Here. Commissioner Young.
Here.
Then McGovern. Here.
It's Christie. It's Christie. You didn't say Christie.
I'm here. Trustee McGovern.
Here, and I brought you soup.
Thank you. Jerry Galloway.
Here.
Jeremiah Stevens. David Ruby. Heather Casworth. Ariane Vasquez.
Here.
Claire Goldenberg.
Here.
Joanne Wright.
Here.
Robert Sachs. Sandra Cummings.
Thank you. And then we'll have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know.
Live here tonight.
And let me see if there's any-
I just-
I move that slow.
And I apologize to everyone. I have a 4-minute drive here and it took me 20 minutes.
We were just saying the traffic on 75th
It
was
was
bad,
bad, me
traffic
too.
on Yaqui was bad, on Richard Galloway.
I barely could see driving here.
So, Mr. Galloway, was that public comment for this meeting or the next?
Oh, it's for the next meeting.
Okay. So there's no in-person public comments, and then I'm just gonna. And there are no public comments online. So public comments has been met. Next, we have approval of the minutes. And there was a the committee, sorry, there was a response from the survey of the last committee. And this was done by Ms. Goldenberg. And let me just put it there. What has Lisle Township been well gotten organized, written down policies and procedures, added programs to our residents, increased monetary allowances, implemented ideas to save energy and lower environmental costs, created a medical lending program, introduced technology and to increase efficiencies. What inefficiencies did we identify? What are our next steps? Lacking in communication across the township to better identify all the needs of all the residents, reduce senior services, better mission and vision for the township, better website information, especially around public comment rules and annual town hall intricacies, better prepared board members. What can we do better or more efficiently communicate with each other and the township? Any suggestions for this community? For this committee, don't disband, continue to meet to ensure our ideas are acted upon. What would you say should be our committee's recommendations regarding increased accountability and efficiency? Don't disband the committee, continue to meet to ensure our recommendations are taken. Okay. And then, so for the minutes. Clark?
Just a correction on October 9th, 2024. It's indicated on that meeting minutes that there were no public comments. And there were. That's all. With designing.
Okay, so we have the May 10th, 2023, the August 14th, 2024, and the October 9th, 2024. Any other comments about any of those for discussion or motions?
So I'll make a motion to approve these minutes. Discuss them properly.
Thank you, Claire and Marianne. Any other discussion? Claire?
So we just correct that point. Okay, thank you.
Okay, then a roll call vote.
And I didn't write down who wasn't here, so I may be repeating. Supervisor Hewitt,
Yes.
trustee Geist,
Yes.
trustee Robinson,
Yes,
trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Page,
Yes.
um, Jerry Galloway,
yes.
Jeremiah Stevens, David Rooney, Heather Casmark.
Is here.
Oh, excuse me,
She walked in.
I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not even sure if I'm on the committee anymore.
You are.
because that is
You're
not-
listed. You are.
So I'm not gonna vote today. I'm staying on
Miriam Vasquez,
Yes.
Claire Goldenberg,
Yes.
Joanne Wright,
Yes.
Robert Sachs was not here, nor Sandra Cummings.
Right.
I do have one question for that. We do have Township Administrator Jim Marino. Does that switch over? Or no?
Well, in the law, it said that the township administrator would be that, but this would be his first meeting. I mean, I'm not sure.
If he wasn't there for those 3 meetings, I mean. I say give him legal advice except potentially abstaining to that because he wasn't there for them.
Am I putting you down using this?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Please do.
Okay, thank you. The minutes are passed. Discussion about the survey, we went through that one just a little bit earlier. It was kind of a bit of public comment as well. Discussion, does anybody have any other comments on the survey?
Well,
Claire,
just one more. Who is this gentleman?
Jim or John Light, the township
So
interim.
Jim Marino is gone.
Yes,
Okay. So obviously he's no longer on,
right.
but he would be on the committee going forward if he still had the committee.
If it wasn't the last meeting,
Thank you for the clarification.
okay. Discussion and action on the edits to the Decennial Committee report.
Okay.
And right now, trustee Robinson had a whole lot of edits, that he suggested with the pronouns of we and us, so instead there's Lyle Township. One of the suggestions had been to try to make sure that we got a hold of as many intergovernmental agreements as we could. And we did find the agreement with Naperville in particular and updated the intergovernmental agreements part of our website with as many as we could find so far. There could be more. We are going to continue to make sure that we have as many of them as we have, but the municipalities that I had been working with found the ones that are here. And then one of the pieces that was suggested was to make sure that we had that we clarified the clerk to be the discussion action about the formal designation of OMA officer of the clerk. And so that's on the agenda for today in particular. And those were the pieces that have been discussed at the last meeting. Trustee Robinson.
Were any of the comments from Claire Goldenberg recently posted included in this? So you put some recommendations for changes, I thought.
They weren't really, the only change was to not disband.
No,
Other than that, everything's really has already been documented in this.
okay,
document.
So any other discussion?
Um,
Trustee Robinson?
I have a question under review of laws, township policies, item 6. There's a statement around Lyle board, township board rules. Where it says, are the current board rules in alignment with the legal advice that was given to the board during the training? And the answer is no. What is that relevant to?
Well, what that was relevant to was that the board rules were not amended after the training. So they're still out of alignment.
What recommendations specifically did the legal give that we have not incorporated?
to change who was, defined as being on the board.
But we didn't change it.
Right.
I
So
don't
that's
believe,
where it
And
was.
that wasn't a legal.
I don't believe that was
recommendation,
guided.
That was a discussion.
I don't believe they said we had to change.
They didn't say we had to change it. It was, the idea was that we would actually be in, agreement with the legal definition, not with what TOI had recommended to you. But we never amended that.
I'm just having a problem with,
So do you want to just take out the word no?
yes. Yes. Or be specific as to where you feel that we're out of alignment. Right.
Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you take the whole sentence out? I mean,
No.
they were agreed to in May 2023, then revised in July 2023.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you feel differently? There.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Any other discussions? Trustee Page.
Page 7, bullet point 2. I have I would like, the township was given software from the township supervisor that allows the pantry to manage residents' access and soon allow it to manage the inventory of the pantry. Then the very next bullet point, Lyle Township modernized and enhanced food pantry with the help of DuPage County grants to buy shelves, software, electric pallet lifts, electric forklifts, refrigerators, for blah, blah, blah. Everybody could read this. It says the same thing. I don't feel that we need to know that you donated this software to the food pantry. That was your choice. We don't need to.
And it's still donated, because
Thank you.
didn't it come out of the grants?
Well, no, she tried to get the money back out of the grant, but we said no. So I'm uncomfortable with that being included. That's not an efficiency. No, exactly.
So it's been taken out. The township allows the pantry to manage residents' access and will soon allow it to manage the inventory of the pantry. Claire Goldenwood.
It is an efficiency though.
Yes, it's an efficient.
The software is an efficiency. Who gave it to the township is not necessary to be in this report.
At the point that there is software that does make the pantry more.
We could say
efficient.
sophomore was implemented.
Exactly.
So I took out who did it. So the
Okay.
township allows the pantry to manage residents' access and will soon allow it to manage the inventory of the pantry. With pantry staff.
Are we going around? Are we coming back, or do you want to know everything that I have?
Sure.
Okay. Page 8. Mapped out the township water basins. Created a township mosquito abatement that saved the township over 94,000 in 2 years. It's a fine thing if you back it up with fact, okay? It cannot just be your words, right? So I'm uncomfortable with that being in there unless you're willing to back it up with fact, proof. Literal proof that you saved this township $94,000.
Well, the proof is we did not pay for Clark for 2 years, which in each year was the 94,000, which is added up. So I mean, it's easy to see
No,
where
that's-
we did not pay. We
No.
paid $5,000. Well, we can see.
No, I know that, but I also know that you did not drop those biscuits in those basins because we had a lot left over. So this is just my opinion. I'm uncomfortable with that being in there.
There is a map that shows the basins, and there's there's a witness that went around to most of those basins that was with me. So there is
Witness.
my significant other. That was writing, I would jump out and throw the pieces, the briskets in. And he was making the map, and he did all the documentation.
Did we just over purchase? Why were there so many left over?
I did purchase more so that I didn't have to be in a dilemma when I needed to get them out at the very first of the season. Because there isn't always a quick ability to get the,
Yeah,
Larvicide.
supply and demand, sure. But so now we have all these extras, so what are we doing with them?
They're using,
they've been
they
already,
use them.
The agency is using the ones we paid for?
they already used them.
And then
But there are no extras.
my last comment would be the addition of the purchase of 2121 Ogden. I feel like that was a pretty significant purchase, a pretty significant decision that we came to together, and it should be included as an improvement.
What would you like it to be worded as?
Does anybody have any language specific that they would like to use?
Well, the purchase, not the purchase of, I mean, I would like a minute to write something up, but the purchase of 2121, I've been, was not only a strategic and financially prudent decision, but it enables for future growth and planning of township services, which will only enhance the community's, the offering to the community.
Eliminated the use of outside space.
Yeah.
And provided us with a source of income.
And it's
Yeah.
close, and it is.
So I guess it's a couple of sentences.
Well, and I think,
We need more.
thank you. I think the most important thing, it was voted on by the residents of the township.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly. The residents of
Of
the
the
township, we
township.
brought it to the residents and the
That's
residents
correct.
said yes.
So everything else you said, I agree with. I would include that it was a
Yes.
By
resident.
vote of the residents. of
Yeah.
Lyle
Town hall,
Township.
right.
Good word and good point. Thank you both.
Claire, did you have something?
Yes.
So Claire, I'm the one that, call on people. Thank you, trustee guys.
We have to be-
Claire,
We're in a discussion. We don't have to be so formal.
Well, I'm not quite sure how that building is going to be utilized for township services. Since the majority of the space is being utilized by a brewery that has first right of refusal on their lease. It's a 10-year lease. And they can keep renewing it. So when are we gonna get to utilize the space?
You are. You got the assessor and the clerk.
Highway Commissioner Young,
Okay, so still, so how is it that the residents are getting to utilize the space?
So the,
trustee guys,
that's a good question. So first and foremost, wasn't there a discussion and weren't people coming to meeting after meeting for the last 3 years asking for more services for seniors? That's happened, right? So we found a space that we already invested, we're earning income from it. And when they decide they've outgrown the space, that space is not gonna work for them permanently. And when that space is outgrown for them, and it's not gonna take 10 years, we will have the opportunity to expand into that space. Without owning that space, we don't have that opportunity. We would have to purchase somewhere else, and everything that's happening here would have to move somewhere else. Everything that's happening there would have to move somewhere else. So it was the most financially prudent decision was to capture that space at the price that we did at the time that we did for future planning. It may not happen. Is it gonna happen tomorrow? Is it gonna happen in 3 years? We don't know. But we have the space and we have the opportunity to utilize it. And half of the building is the tax assessor's office. If we had to move that tax assessor's office, that would be a huge expense to our taxpayers, and I know that we don't want to do that.
okay, so the building is 40% to the assessor's office. I saw Clerk Paulo with his hand up.
I was,
Really?
You're welcome to.
Don't come on and sit down.
to your point, what I was going to say is, it's the potential future
It's the-
use of the building.
Right.
Also, keep in mind that Bubble House is not the only tenant. There's another tenant as well with a smaller space, Sandmark. And they don't have a long lease as well. So when their lease is up, we could determine if that space that we really
Or
want
rent.
to use,
Right.
need, or want to reconfigure in a different way. So the idea was for, no, we're not using it now, but it's potential use. We own the building, we have control of the building for the future. It's also an asset,
Yes.
it's.
Versus
another
constructing a new
building
building.
asset.
On campus.
Okay, Claire Goldenberg, I saw your hand up.
I guess just like some kind of a guarantee that we are gonna be able to utilize that space in some meaningful time frame.
That's the goal, but there's
That's the
nothing that's
goal.
100% guaranteed.
So
Well,
we
you
all have
guarantee that you're gonna
Raise
walk
our
out the door
hands,
tomorrow
because
and,
those are the rules that
you know,
we
and
have.
it stop raining? No, I mean, there's no
Raise our
guarantee of what's gonna
Right.
happen. We're doing our best
Trustee
for that to
Rice?
be the intention.
Okay, Claire Goldenberg,
Well, we are trying to run a government services program here, so there should be some level of guarantees for our residents. And that is all I'm going to say. on this
Thank you.
subject.
I'm done.
So were you gonna address?
trustee Robinson.
Did she, did she just type it? What did you type? Can we see what you gathered?
The
from it?
township purchased 21 Ogden Avenue, Lyle, after the residents voted on this at a town hall. This also allows for rental income.
I said a lot more than that. So how about I do this? I'll type something up before right now, and send it to you, so we can get it up before the end of this meeting. We've got how much longer,
I
right?
appreciate that.
Okay, we could take a recess if we can come to an agreement on everything else, so that we can recess before the next meeting and come back to this and approve it. Highway Commissioner Young,
On page 1, on the next position of Lisle Township, you can include the road district if it's there as well. And since I'll be writing, we have our own report, I think we'd be done counting.
okay, we can subtract those. Trustee
Robinson.
Robinson,
Item 8, inefficiencies, township identify what are the township's next step. The point about the township needs to prove to the community it's providing the necessary oversight, the assessor's office, highway department, ensure community's best interests. We don't have a lot of oversight. Township board doesn't have oversight over the highway. They have their own. I think that, I don't know if I can say it this way or not, but I think the residents have a chance to weigh in on the efficiency of the highway commissioner's office through the political process. We don't tell him, we can't tell a highway commissioner what to do.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure where you're speaking of.
Well, you said the township needs,
Where is this? What page?
well, okay, let me find the page, exact page.
It is midway through, page 9.
8, 9,
9. The township needs to prove
To
to
the
the community that it is providing the necessary oversight over the assessor's office and the highway department to ensure that the community's best interests are always addressed. Programs should be implemented to address this.
Okay, so, and you were saying, trustee Robinson, I was trying to.
well, the township board does not provide oversight over the highway commissioner. And we have limited oversight over the assessor's office, like even at the budget level. So,
Correct.
I'm not sure what is envisioned here. It's not something that the township board can do. I,
Okay, so would we like to delete that phrase?
Strike it.
the whole sentence, yeah. Whole sentence.
You could say that the
mean to throw out any.
board ensures quality service from the highway and
Trustee McGovern, I just deleted it. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
now we can delete it too.
And
Trustee
there
Robinson?
was a specific point people wanted to make, and I think a part of it is there is an opportunity for a collaborative effort for the township to work with the highway commissioner's office and the assessor's office to find common purpose and savings, whether it be in the form of software or other services. If that's what the intent is, we can word it that way. But I don't think we can have oversight. And legally, there's no oversight that the township board can have over those two organizations.
Claire?
Well, I recall a few instances over the last few years where there were some disasters in the township, and it would have been nice if the highway commissioner's office and the township could have worked a little bit more collaboratively together, and they didn't. So if there was something that this decennial committee could have put together where we could have encouraged more cooperation between those two entities, I think that is what the spirit of that vine was all about. I don't know how we can, I know we can't enforce anything, but the decennial committee is trying to make the township better for the residents. That is the goal of this committee. And there were a lot of residents really hurt by a natural disaster in this community. And the highway commissioner, the highway department could have stepped up, and it didn't. And there was nothing that the supervisor could do.
What natural disaster
Highway
is that?
Commissioner Young?
Well, it depends on what you
What?
mean by stepped up.
A
We sent,
tornado? I don't know where it's
crews
from.
out to help fellow townships unincorporated areas within DuPage County. and sent equipment out, and they were over there for 3 weeks. I don't know whether you think that's not stepping up or not, but we have an agreement with the other township highway departments to provide aid to each other in cases of natural disaster. We had an obligation to do that to Downers Grove, and we did so. There was no significant damage in the unincorporated areas as a result of this storm of Lyle Township.
And how about in the incorporated?
There was, but I have an obligation because I have agreements with the other townships. So I have to go there first. And Naperville has a wealth of assets. And I also have wealth of agreements with the other cities.
Okay, and thank you.
So to suggest that we did not step up and address the needs of the community in that storm, I take great exception.
I see Ms. Wright's hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to echo Claire's sentiments.
Hi, Clerk Bowles.
I'm actually not sure that that pertains to the decennial report that we should be having right now. But I also want to say that we have all witnessed the exact opposite. We have seen the road district save the township when we were supposed to have the food drive come and drop off things at the township. But the supervisor didn't make plans to accept it. So the highway road district took care of taking all that, the perishables in and saving it. We've also seen, I just heard just last week, it's the highway commissioner's road district that's coming over and helping with things that needed to be done in the food pantry, correct? We see that all the time, and maybe you don't hear it, but it does happen. You've been plowing, you've been, gas, all kinds of different things that are needed. So I too take offense to it because I see how hard that you work and everyone on this board works. And I know what you've done through the natural disasters, and everyone really tried to work as hard as they could.
And that food drive did have a plan. I was not
You weren't
informed
here
of-
or open.
You're right, I was not here. I was out of town, but there was a plan that happened when I realized that it was happening.
After,
Was a plan.
after
There was a plan
the
that you realized-
commissioner stepped in
There
and took care
was.
of it. He was the plan.
No, there was another plan.
We don't.
What was the plan?
Let's put that on the report.
Wait, what was the plan?
Barry Robbins.
Well,
Trustee Robbins.
I wanted,
It's not fair to create a character assassination or to publicly insult one of the functions of this township and say there was a plan for a plan. Word
That's-
salad, and not be able to tell us what the plan was. We discussed this at length in the meetings around that time. It was an epic failure on your part to secure that someone would have access and keys to this space. There was poor planning that happened. So we're not gonna go into that again because we don't have to, but it's one of the number of reasons that there was a vote of no confidence issued for you in September of 2023. And that stands. Continue.
Trustee guys, frankly, and again, you're constantly character assassinating me.
No, it's what
There's
happened.
actually people here in
It's
this
what
room
happened.
that were involved with
Point
the
of
plan
order,
of coming
right
back
now, we're
to
not,
pick it
we're
up.
not
Yeah.
doing anything to advance
Supervisor,
our
let's
meeting.
Yeah.
focus on the report, please.
Thank you. Trustee Robinson.
well, actually, I was gonna, John, sorry. I was gonna give you an opportunity to talk about the latest opportunity where the highway commissioner stepped up and helped with one of the vehicles.
Sure, yeah, even before the meeting, I think the highway commissioner, because one of our pantry trucks was down. And, we put a call into the highway department to see if they could have their mechanic come take a look at our van. Because otherwise you have people driving inoperable equipment, tows. And Ed did stop what he was doing, sent over his mechanic, and Brad did a wonderful job. And it was fixed and operable within 2 hours, I think. Very professional services. I know Ed had to stop what he was doing and did it to help us, but it was a phone call. It is very appreciated
Right.
and very professional.
And one of the things, you gotta see someone, we have a fleet now, we have 5 vehicles. And we really haven't developed a strategy for how we're gonna manage those 5
Exactly.
vehicles, so we've relied a lot on the.
Point
highway
of
commissioner.
order, can we get back to the, advancing the meeting?
Trustee Geist, I saw your hand up first.
Well, I just want to make sure that that item is clear, because I think that to go forward and just gloss over it is not, I don't think it's fair. I thank you for clarifying, John, the support that the highway commissioner has given. And it did probably get a little, because it's like, it gets frustrating when people can come to the table and they can make an accusation, but they don't really specify what it is that they believe happened or what went wrong. And then when it's explained, it's not a sufficient response. It's not conducive to the board. It's not conducive to us moving forward. It's not conducive to good relations. And so I guess I'm just curious, Claire Goldenberg, where did you get the idea that the highway commissioner, who shared information with you that the highway commissioner, and what was that information that the highway commissioner did not do their job for the township?
So. We need to
I asked a
focus
question.
on
No.
getting this meeting.
Wait a minute, I have a
the
question. I
report
think
done.
it's a fair question,
So-
and I think it's fair to answer the question. There's nothing wrong with answering the question.
Do you wish to answer this, Claire, or
I
no?
would wish to have this meeting move on.
Okay, so we can just make statements and then not substantiate them. All right, let's move on.
I have one last.
I wanted to
Trustee McGovern?
keep, I want to keep this in, that this, the townships, the supervisor's office continues to collaborate with the highway department, and the highway department and, I'm sorry, assessor's office. I think that's what we do. That's
Yes.
what we're
Yep.
here for. So we
Absolutely.
can't scratch this one. I think we need to
Yes.
rewrite it.
To work collaborative.
And we have done it, but we continue to collaborate
Yes.
and take opportunities
To work
to
collaboratively
communicate so we can collaborate.
in the best interest of the residents. It's really,
Supervisor's office continues to collaborate with the highway department and
how about not just, how about is committed to and continues to? Because we are committed to working together.
And will continue to would be lovely.
Will continue to, so you like that better? Will
I think
continue,
that'd be,
is, so
Are
is
you
not as
suggesting that
committed.
I didn't?
No, he's saying
No.
will continue.
Continue.
no, I'm not saying anything like that.
He's just saying, so instead of saying
So
is
we raise our
committed,
hands. Thank you,
I'd like to
everyone.
make a motion. I'd like to
Um,
make a motion for the purpose of getting this discussion done, that we not have to keep raising our hands. Just to get this discussion done, please, because
So
this is an important point he's making, and I'd like to hear it. please.
so you
Thank
made a
you.
motion. Is there a second?
No second.
Okay, I saw Highway Commissioner Young's hand up.
I have one last point to make, and that's when the storm hit on Burlington Avenue. It affected, it was classified, but affected the village of Lisle and the unincorporated areas just south of the. In that instance, I didn't have to call anybody from the townships. I had 3 crews on site from all the towns. Helping clean up because I knew I was in trouble. The village had crews from Naperville and down the road. The way the agreement works between the cities is the cities help the cities and the townships help the townships. That's the way it's done. That's why we were not in the incorporated cases in our tornado strike. To suggest that we weren't helping people, I take great offense to, and that was wrong.
Okay, so the supervisor's office, highway department and assessor's office will continue to work together for the betterment of Lisle Township.
Yeah.
Clerk Powell.
There's another area in there that says that, I think it's in a place where we can do better. That states that the board will read the packet and they will become prepared for the meetings, which actually suggests that we don't, and I don't think that's really been an issue for us at all. So I think that should be removed.
Okay, any other discussion? Trustee Page.
Page 10, First bullet point, investigate the 501(c)(3) structure and mission statement and structure for ongoing operations to support the food insecurity in Lyle Township. Are you currently working with any attorney on setting up a 501(c)(3) for the township?
No, I'm not. The board did approve.
I'm
a
aware of that. I have
foundation,
that minutes and
Not a
that
single
agenda in
thing.
front of me, but I'm asking you, are you currently working with that attorney that this board approved? I'm not saying that we didn't approve it, we did. I'm asking if you are currently working with that attorney, with that firm on setting up or exploring a 501(c)(3).
No, I am
Thank
not.
you.
Claire,
Going back to striking the preparedness of the board. I've been to many of these meetings. Which is why. The Decennial committee wanted to put that in. It seems that. There are a lot of things that come before this board, it's the first that they've ever seen it,
no.
so. I think that's not a ridiculous thing to have in here, that they should be prepared for these meetings, having read all of the materials before they.
You're accusing us of not reading the packet? Not reading the.
We need to
packet.
raise our hands in order to have this be a meeting that
Decisive.
people can follow online and what have you not.
Supposed to be collaborative.
think that was
Mary,
But, okay.
clerk Polowitz.
Actually, then maybe you would want to have it worded differently, because there's a lot of times that we've seen it for the first time when it's here because we get it at the last minute. So maybe if you want that to be put in, you might want to put that differently, that it's prepared, the packets are prepared well ahead of time with everything in there as per the board rules. Because when we look like we're seeing something for the first time, we are, because we haven't received it prior, or there's been a change.
Edits.
Like even today, we had something at 4 o'clock. I'm not sure everyone even got to see it. But so if you do want that in there, and I suggest you just leave it out, but if you do want it in there, I think the wording needs to be completely different.
Trustee Robinson.
Well, John, if you don't provide your perspective, well, not to put me on the hot seat, but you talked about this. I mean, important issues shouldn't come up and be discussed and decided on in the first meeting. Some of these have to take time to say, okay, we're gonna talk about this, let's talk about it now, we'll bring it to a vote next meeting. So I think to all of us, we feel rushed for some of this stuff. We see some of this stuff on Friday, some of it 4 o'clock before the meeting. So
Right.
I think there does have to be a different pace for decisions and for information that's put in front of the board. So if that's the intent, I think it should be worded like that. I don't know if you have any specific guidance on it.
There are various ways to do it. You could have a first and a second reading. First meeting is for discussion and conversation, then second meeting for action. That way you have time to prepare, do any research, talk amongst each other, get input from the community. Second meeting is action. That's kind of other boards, I'm not sure. Across other public boards you can deal with. I'm sorry.
It's Sean. We both
I
have glasses.
apologize. But that's something you could look into.
We did try that, it didn't work.
Okay.
And Claire?
Well, that is definitely the goal. I mean, the goal is that you. It would be best if these meetings were run more efficiently and that you all seem to be on the same page when you're discussing these items that are on the agenda. However, you guys can get there, however we can suggest that you can get there is what would be a very lofty goal for the township.
Okay, any other discussion?
What you don't want.
Trustee Geist?
I thought you were, what you don't want is a board that has had previous conversations to this extent that we have colluded on what we believe. It's very healthy for us to come here and discuss matters and to have different perspectives. I think that's a little more transparent. And I think that as a taxpayer, I would appreciate seeing that versus us all coming on, yep, this is what we all decided. That means we've all already had multiple conversations and we're not having that conversation in front of you so that you get an opportunity to really hear what we're thinking, right? I mean, I would not be excited about a board who all thinks the same, who all responds the same, and who comes to the table with decisions already made. So yes, there have been times that we've got information late. There's been times where information's been edited. But we spent a lot of time, reason why we get the packet on Friday is because we have it the whole weekend. So we spent a lot of time in it. It doesn't mean we don't have questions. It doesn't mean that we're not gonna come here and go, we read the packet and we're not gonna come here and go, yeah, I don't think this is what is right, or I don't agree with this. I mean, there has to be discussion. And the problem, because we have to honor OMA laws, we can't like talk in group, right? So we have to have multiple conversations over a weekend before, or between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And see just what one other thing, because I may think something is a great idea, and Barry may say something to me, share something with me that makes me go, oh, maybe that's not such a great idea. Or I may say it's a great idea and still come here in the meeting after thinking about it and going, well, maybe I don't think it's such a great idea. So it's just part of being on a board. There has to be discussion. There has to be, we're gonna disagree. We're gonna look like we're seeing something for the first time. We're seeing it for the first time, just that we're not always on the same page, which you don't want a board that's always on the same page.
Mr. Galloway.
Yeah, I have some, I reworded this, I don't know if it's any better, but, meeting packets should be provided in a timely manner and read and understood by all board members to provide for efficient meetings. How does that sound? Sometimes I have to read things 2 times, sometimes I have to read things 3
Sometimes I
times.
usually it's 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
There's
me
that
right.
too.
I think
So
But the goal,
okay.
the goal is to read and understand.
he didn't raise the same.
You all are interrupting, so it would be very
We
helpful,
only have
especially
a
for the
couple more
people,
months. We're gonna get through this together, honey.
just you guys.
We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. The first part you said, Jerry,
I said,
Jerry, the
meeting-
what was the last part though? How you said that? Can we just reword that? Where it says we should have, what was the last part?
and read by all board members to provide, read and understood by all board members to provide for efficient meetings.
I don't know if it's,
The
because
goal,
what
the
defines
goal is to
efficient?
understand it.
Productive? Is that a better word? I don't know.
Productive is
Efficient
fine.
sounds, efficient
Productive,
sounds like we're not running efficient meetings. Sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go long, so.
something, well, I've watched a bunch of meetings in person and on video. And some portions of the meetings are very efficient, and other portions. They're not so efficient, they're more chaotic.
Yeah,
People repeating the same points, different people repeating the same point, sometimes the same person repeating the same points. And I wouldn't go so far as to say that people don't read the packets. I think they do.
is there another
Okay, so
word?
to be clear, we have 9 minutes left of this meeting.
Productive is
In
fine.
order to have a recess, we're gonna need to move it along. Is there any, it sounds like we don't have agreed upon wording on this.
I think we do. He said we
Mary
did
Ann?
unproductive.
Productive is fine.
Okay.
Okay, have productive meeting.
Okay.
Mary Ann.
Who's gonna read
Just
it?
like to say, when writing a document, you don't necessarily have to take it personally. The way this was written is implying nothing. It's just a statement of where you would like to go.
I take it personally.
Trustee
Yeah.
McGovern.
I take it personally. I take it personally. We put a lot of time and effort in this. We sleep on it. We put these thoughts before our children sometimes because we've been entrusted to this. And to say we don't even read our packet, I think is the most offensive thing.
Okay, let's stay on focus of trying to get this.
Well, I would like
document
this book to
done.
be friendly, and I think that's a hostile thing. Can we get rid of the hostility?
If you're saying that it's not, if you're putting it under something that needs to be done better,
Right.
and it's being written in there, that's implying and
Right.
more than implying, it's saying that it's not being done. I do, appreciate what you rewrote, but I think it's saying the same thing. It's
Okay, I see
still
what you're
saying that the board is not reading their packets. It's just saying that it needs to come in on Fridays. So, which is a rule. So to me, I still go back, and this is me repeating myself, that go back to, I think that one should just be scratched off because that has not been an issue for us. It's very clear when people are not reading their packets.
Barry, Jean? Chime in.
That's one of them.
So take out, have productive meetings. That was the only thing that was taken
No,
out.
the whole bullet point.
That has been taken out.
Okay, then we're good.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, then if we take a 5-minute recess to finish the statement, the wording on the 21-21 Ogden building, and then come back and do that. So and retake this vote. So I'm gonna call a 5-minute recess. Thank you.
Do we need did you want me just, so you want to work on it for 5 minutes during the recess and then give it to you?
Please, whenever you can.
You want to read?
The sooner the better. Thank you.
Did you read it?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Edit as necessary.
Yes.
That's
good. I don't think we need to recess.
Let Jean. We'll share you.
Who do we have to speak?
For, whoops. For the building. Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm just having a really good time. I'm gonna need a snack.
Are you good with, look at the language, see if you're good with that?
How do you know that, like, I think it's so funny that people always bring me pretzels. I think it's really endearing. Did you ever, no, you wouldn't have been here at that time, but there was a time when the meetings were.
Whose is this? Oh,
You edited it.
It was approved by the public.
Oh, yeah.
Town hall meeting.
Thank you for noticing that.
Yes, I can.
Don't move my.
Did you bring it for me? How are you?
Chicken tortilla soup, avocado cilantro lime.
Well, don't tell everyone.
And I was afraid you wouldn't have dinner or something, like that would be horrible, but for lunch, whatever.
Thank you so much.
And I brought meringues. We have peppermint and plain vanilla meringues. And we got something sweet.
And because of John, I worked for breakfast.
I have a copycat recipe for that cake, and it's so easy to make. Okay,
I'm good.
And if everybody that you could sign in,
Yes.
please.
I did everything. Yeah. First, and then.
Yes. So I'll just stand back here, but I'm not lurking. I'm not lurking. Yeah, I'm not.
I need water.
I drink water.
Yeah.
You never know.
I want to be crazy.
So it's a 14 and 15. 14 is the health insurance on there, so we've got that speaker here, and then 15 is better, we've got that speaker here. So I'll make a motion to remove it. Two, thank you. For like 5, 6, so we'll do. Yep. And where, what is this discussion and answer on the, okay, this.
Yeah, so she's up there already.
5 and 6, so.
So put it under 6.
Under 5. The 6 and 7, I think.
You guys.
Oh, yeah, right. No.
Totally. And then moving 14 and 15. Even with those are the only two, right? So that'll be the first.
Yeah. I hope so. Oh, wait, yeah. Thank you.
Scorpio.
If I were all.
Yeah.
Is it signing it, please?
And I can.
Yeah.
It's been.
All right, Johnny, the official bouncer,
That's what I feel.
little velvet rope.
Trustee guys, trustee guys, are you ready to go? Is the statement ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready?
can you send it to
I
email
didn't want to
it?
send it to your email.
Yes, please.
We're still on the December.
To move 14 and 15 up, because it's actually a box, so that should be the three speakers, right? Oh, sure.
No, let's put all the accounting stuff together. This is accounting, this is accounting,
On its way.
accountant's report, this is the accounting too.
Okay, what order do you want to put it in?
This one should go up, 13 should go up right after the accountants. So I put 13 up after 8. Or,
I was trying to get our speakers.
I know,
Okay.
but she's gonna speak to the Illinois Council too.
Okay, so 14, 15, and 16 have speakers other than the accountant, so. Kelly would need to be involved with the rest of from the financial show, 14, 15, and 16.
Right.
Up to the list.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We're gonna move 14, 15, and 16 up to the list. Okay.
But I think.
There's some guy.
Okay, well,
That's the bullet above it, right?
well,
The bullet point right above that one we just dropped.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
there you go. You're good.
Thanks, Marty.
Okay, the meeting is being called back to order. The last portion of the Decennial Committee meeting. And so this is what, this last bullet point is what, trustee Geist just sent me. Does anybody have any edits?
I can't read it.
Lyle Township purchased the property at 2121 Ogden Lyle per the vote of Lyle Township residents. This property is currently where the tax assessor and clerk's offices are located. The purchase has resulted in rental income as there are 2 other businesses utilizing the space. This purchase also creates an opportunity to use real estate for the potential expansion of future services. Any edits? Does anybody want to make a motion to
I'll make a
approve?
motion to approve this document.
Okay, thank you, Claire and Mary Ann. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Yeah, Joanne Wright,
Yay.
Claire Goldenberg,
Yes.
Mary Ann Vasquez,
Yes.
Heather Casmark,
No.
Jerry Galloway.
Yes.
John Blight. Abstain.
Stay.
Trustee Page,
Yes.
trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Robinson,
Yes,
trustee Geist,
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Okay, the motion passes.
Motion to adjourn. Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the Decennial Committee meeting.
Second. Thank you, trustee Robinson and trustee Page. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, the Decennial Committee is